Libra, before you scroll, before you doubt this moment, let me ask you something. Have you felt it lately? That quiet pressure in your chest? Like something in your life is shifting, but you can't fully explain why. This message didn't find you by accident. And no, this isn't for everyone. It's for the Libra who's been holding it together while something inside is ready to break free. December 25th, 2025 marks a turning point. Not loud, not dramatic, but powerful enough to give you goosebumps. If you've been standing at the edge of a decision, a feeling, or a new version of yourself you haven't fully stepped into yet, stay with me. Take a breath, trust yourself, and if this already feels personal, leave a comment, subscribe, because what comes next might change the way you see yourself moving into 2026. Stay with me for a moment, not because you have to, but because something inside you already leaned in. I am speaking to you as one Libra, not the version you show the world, the quieter one, the one who keeps balance for everyone else, even when your own heart feels slightly off-center. You did not press play randomly, and I know you are tired of hearing that phrase, but this time it lands differently, because lately you have been sensing it too, that subtle closing, like a door behind you that no longer opens the way it used to. Not slammed, not dramatic, just gently done. You may not even be able to name what is ending. A way of responding, a role you kept playing, a version of yourself that learned how to survive by staying agreeable, steady, composed. Libra, you have always known how to read the room, how to soften the edges, how to carry harmony like a second skin. But there comes a moment when even balance must shift. December 25th, 2025 carries that kind of weight. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind that settles into your bones. You are standing at a threshold, and thresholds are strange places. They ask you to pause without fully stopping, to feel without rushing to fix, to notice what is changing before it demands action. This is not pressure, it is permission, a gentle awakening that does not shove you forward, it simply turns the light on. You may feel more alert lately, more sensitive to what no longer fits, less willing to explain yourself, more aware of your own inner timing. That is not restlessness, that is recognition. Something in you is remembering who you were before you learned to compromise your instincts, before you made peace at the cost of your truth, before you measured your worth by how comfortable others felt around you. And here is the part that matters. You are not being asked to burn anything down. You are being invited to step out of what has already run its course, softly, with grace, with choice. This awakening does not announce itself with chaos. It comes as clarity, as a calm knowing that you do not need to fight anymore. That what is meant to leave will do so naturally, and what is meant to stay will meet you where you are becoming. If you feel a strange mix of relief and uncertainty right now, that makes sense. Relief because something heavy is loosening. Uncertainty because the next version of you has not fully introduced itself yet. That space, that in between, that is where real change begins. You do not need to rush this moment. You do not need to label it. You only need to stay present with it. Because what is unfolding now is not forcing you into a new life. It is gently aligning you with one that has been waiting. And as you take this breath, as you let this truth settle, notice how the air feels different already. There is movement ahead, not frantic, intentional, a spark, a curiosity, a subtle pull towards something new. And that feeling you are starting to sense, that lightness mixed with anticipation, that is where we go next. There is a reason your energy feels different now. Not rushed, not chaotic, just quietly alive. It starts as curiosity, the kind you cannot logic your way out of, a gentle nudge that shows up when you least expect it, in a thought you almost ignore, in an idea that lingers longer than it should, in a feeling that says maybe there is more for me than what I have already lived. You may notice yourself looking twice at things you once passed by. A conversation, a place, a possibility. Not because it makes sense, but because something inside you leans toward it, that is new for you, and you feel it. You are opening in a way that does not ask for permission anymore, not from others, not even from the version of yourself that needed certainty before moving. This is not impulsive. It only looks that way from the outside. Inside, it feels honest. There is a lightness returning to you. a playful spark that reminds you of who you were before responsibility became heavy. Before you learned how to stay still, even when your soul wanted motion. You may find yourself drawn to someone unfamiliar, or to a role you never pictured yourself in, or to an idea that feels slightly ahead of who you think you are. And here's the truth. You do not need to be ready in the way you were taught. You only need to be willing. That inner voice saying, "I want to try," is not reckless. It is awake. You have spent enough time preparing, thinking, weighing every outcome, holding yourself back until everything felt balanced. But growth does not always arrive balanced. Sometimes it arrives curious, a little uncertain, carrying nothing but a quiet confidence that you will figure it out as you go. There is something deeply freeing about that, about admitting you do not have the whole map, and choosing to step forward anyway. This energy around you is not asking you to leap blindly. It is asking you to trust your instinct more than your fear, to let experience teach you what hesitation never could. You may feel younger in this space, not in years, in spirit, more open, more expressive, more alive in your own skin. And if part of you wonders why now, why this sudden pull toward movement, toward change, toward something untested, it is because you are no longer meant to stay contained. The life you are stepping into requires curiosity. It requires presence. It requires a version of you that says yes to learning instead of waiting. You are allowed to explore without explaining, to experiment without defending your choices, to follow what excites you even if it does not fit the old narrative. There is no mistake in listening to that call, only growth. And as this curiosity builds, as that spark warms into confidence, you may start to notice something else quietly shifting around you, a response from the world, a change in how people see you, how they are drawn toward you without knowing why. That subtle magnetism, that sense of being noticed without trying, that is where the next layer begins. You may not notice it at first, because this kind of change does not announce itself. It moves softly, like a shift in the air when someone enters a room. Nothing obvious, but everything feels slightly different. That is what is happening around you now. Your energy is speaking before you do, not loudly, not desperately, just clearly. There is a calm confidence settling into you, not the kind you perform, the kind you feel when you stop explaining who you are. People sense that. They feel it before they understand it. You may catch someone looking a second longer than usual, listening more closely, responding to you with curiosity instead of expectation. And the interesting part is this: you are not trying to be seen, you are simply present. That presence is magnetic. It comes from the way you are no longer shrinking your truth, from the way your laughter sounds more honest, from the way your silence feels intentional instead of uncertain. There is youth in that, not age, spirit, a lightness that returns when you give yourself permission to live without constant self-correction. If you are single, this is especially noticeable, not because you are searching, but because you are no longer hiding. You are easier to approach now, not because you changed your appearance, but because your energy feels open, unburdened, alive. Someone may feel drawn to you without knowing why. They might call it chemistry, interest, timing. But what they are responding to is freedom. The freedom you are embodying by choosing yourself, by allowing curiosity to guide you, by letting go of the need to be perfectly understood. That kind of authenticity is rare, and people crave it. You might feel it too. That subtle warmth when you walk into certain spaces. That sense of being met instead of overlooked. That moment when conversation flows without effort. And here is something important to remember. This attraction is not something you need to manage, or control, or analyze. It is simply a reflection, a mirror showing you that when you live in alignment, the world responds. You are not meant to dim this, or question it away, or feel guilty for being noticed. You earn this ease by doing the inner work, by staying honest when it was uncomfortable, by choosing growth over stagnation. Let yourself receive the attention without attachment, without expectation, without fear of losing it. This is not about proving your worth. It is about allowing connection to find you naturally. And as this quiet magnetism continues to build, as your presence becomes more grounded and free, you may begin to notice something else unfolding, a sense of belonging, a feeling of being welcomed into new spaces, new dynamics, new beginnings that do not feel forced, moments that feel celebratory without a reason. encounters that feel supportive without explanation. That is not coincidence either. It is the next expression of this energy. The way your inner shift begins to create shared experiences, shared joy, shared stability, and as you lean into that, as you allow yourself to be seen and met, you may realize that this chapter is not only about attraction, it is about connection and the feeling of not walking forward alone. And this is where something soft but meaningful begins to form around you. Because the attention you have been feeling does not stay scattered, it starts to gather. It organizes itself into presence, into people who linger a little longer, into moments that feel shared instead of fleeting. You are not meant to step into this chapter alone, and on some level, you already know that. There is a sense now of being met, not chased, not pulled, simply welcomed. You may notice invitations arriving in subtle ways, a conversation that turns into laughter, a space where you feel comfortable enough to exhale, a group, a partnership, a room where your energy fits without adjustment, that feeling of belonging. It is not loud, it is steady. For so long, you have been the one who adapted, the one who made space, the one who read the emotional temperature and adjusted yourself accordingly. But this time, Libra, the environment adjusts to you. There is joy here, not forced happiness, but the kind that rises naturally when you are seen as you are. You may feel celebrated in small ways, a compliment that lands deeper than expected, recognition that feels earned rather than requested, moments that quietly say yes, you are in the right place. If you are entering a new connection, it does not feel rushed, it feels grounded, like something that grows from shared ease rather than intensity. And if you are already partnered, there is a shift in how you stand together, a first step taken side by side, a shared decision, a new rhythm that feels like building instead of maintaining. There is laughter in this phase, there is warmth, there is the feeling of clinking glasses at a table you were always meant to sit at. You are not proving yourself here. You are participating, and that changes everything. This chapter does not ask you to perform harmony, it invites you to experience it. You may notice how your body responds, less tension in your shoulders, more openness in your voice, a sense of safety that allows you to be playful again. That is what happens when you stop walking alone. And still, this is not about dependency, it is about resonance. The people and spaces entering your life now are not filling a void. They are reflecting a version of you that is already whole. You bring your presence, they meet it. You bring your honesty, they hold it. This is what alignment feels like when it moves beyond the internal and into the shared world. And as you allow yourself to enjoy this connection, as you let celebration exist without suspicion, you may begin to sense another shift approaching, a deeper breath, a stronger sense of self, because joy has a way of revealing freedom, and connection often highlights where you are finally allowed to be yourself. There is a lightness growing now, one that does not depend on anyone else, one that comes from knowing you can choose where you stand, and that feeling, that quiet confidence forming beneath the joy. That is where the next movement begins. Something loosens inside you now, not all at once, just enough for you to notice your breath again. It feels unfamiliar at first, because for so long, your life has been shaped by response, by expectation, by invisible rules you learned to follow without questioning. You became very good at it, at sensing what others needed, at adjusting your tone, at holding space even when your own felt crowded. But lately, that weight has been lifting. You are no longer waking up with that quiet tension in your chest, the one that asks you to be careful, to be agreeable, to stay contained. There is more room now, more air. You may feel it when you make small choices, choosing rest without guilt, choosing honesty without softening it, choosing yourself without rehearsing an explanation. This is freedom, not rebellion, not escape, freedom that grows from clarity. No one is holding the reins anymore, not the past, not old expectations, not even the version of you that believed peace had to be earned through sacrifice. You are learning how to move without asking permission from your own fear, and there is something deeply healing about that. You give yourself permission to enjoy life again, not in excess, in presence. You laugh more freely. You try things without needing them to succeed. You allow yourself to be imperfect and still worthy. Mistakes no longer feel like failures. They feel like movement. This month carries that energy strongly. December does not push you forward. It opens a window, a pause where you realize how much you have been carrying, and how little of it you need to take with you now. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to outgrow what once felt safe. You are allowed to choose joy without justification. And maybe the most important part, you are allowed to be undefined for a while. You do not need a title for who you are becoming. You do not need certainty to honor your direction. Freedom is not knowing exactly where you are going. Freedom is trusting yourself enough to move anyway. You feel lighter because you are no longer performing balance. You are living it. And in this space, something subtle happens. Your energy stabilizes. Not rigid, rooted. You stop reacting. You start choosing. That choice creates confidence. Quiet, unshakable. You may notice how differently the world responds to you now. Less resistance, more openness. A sense that things are meeting you instead of testing you. That is the power of release. When you stop holding yourself back, life stops pushing so hard. This freedom is not an ending, it is a clearing. A moment where the path ahead becomes visible, not because it is forced into view, but because nothing is blocking it anymore. And as you stand here, breathing easier, feeling more like yourself than you have in a long time, there is something else quietly forming beneath the surface. A plan, a vision, something you have been nurturing without sharing. It is still tender, still private, and it deserves to be approached gently. So, take this breath with me. Let this freedom settle, because what you are about to step into next is something you have been preparing for longer than you realize. There is something you have not been talking about, not because you are hiding, but because you are protecting it. It lives in the quiet spaces of your day, in the moments when your mind drifts just enough to imagine a different way of living, a different rhythm, a different future that feels more like you. From the outside, it might look sudden, like a change of heart, a bold move, a spontaneous idea. But you know the truth. This has been forming for a long time. You have been patient. You have waited through seasons where nothing seemed to move. You gathered resources without announcing it. You observed. You learned. You thought things through more deeply than anyone realized. While others spoke, you listened. While the world rushed, you measured your timing. There is wisdom in that. And there is also vulnerability. Because when something matters this much, you become careful about who gets access to it. You know how easily words can be distorted, how quickly doubt can be planted by someone else's fear, how fragile a vision can be before it is ready to stand on its own. So, you kept it close. You did not share it at dinner tables. You did not post about it. You did not invite opinions before the foundation was strong. That was not secrecy. That was discernment. You understood that this journey was not meant to be negotiated. It was meant to be honored. There is a part of you that already knows where this is going, not in detail, but in essence, you can feel the direction in your body, in the way your energy steadies when you think about it, in the calm determination that replaces hesitation. This is not escapism, it is alignment. You are not running from anything. You are moving towards something that finally feels like it belongs to you. And yes, there may still be moments of doubt. That is natural, especially when you are stepping into something that has not been validated yet. But notice this, even when doubt appears, it does not stop you anymore. It passes through without taking control. That tells you everything you need to know. You have reached a point where your inner authority is stronger than external noise, where you trust your pacing, where you do not need applause to keep going. This is maturity. This is self-trust. And it is powerful. The most meaningful changes often begin this way, quietly, without witnesses, rooted in intention rather than urgency. What you are building now does not need to be rushed. It needs to be respected. You are allowed to move in silence until the moment feels right. You are allowed to keep this sacred. You are allowed to choose when and how the world meets it, because when the time comes, and it will, this will not feel like a gamble. It will feel like a natural next step. And as this plan continues to take shape beneath the surface, as your confidence grows stronger and more embodied, you may begin to notice something else aligning around you. Support, stability, the kind of resources that make movement possible, not all at once, but enough. And that is when the quiet preparation turns into visible progress, when intention meets opportunity. So, stay with this feeling, protect it, nurture it, because the next shift is not just about planning anymore. It is about choosing yourself fully and stepping into a position where you are finally free to do so. There comes a moment when preparation turns into resolve, You can feel it before you name it. It shows up as a stillness inside you, a calm that does not ask for permission, a knowing that does not need approval. You are no longer weighing every option. You are listening, and what you hear is simple, clear, steady. I choose me, not in a selfish way, in a truthful one. You have spent enough time living in consideration of everyone else's comfort, enough time postponing your own desires until the timing felt perfect, enough time making sure nothing tipped out of balance. But balance is not meant to keep you small. It is meant to support movement. This decision you are standing in now is not impulsive. It is earned. You have walked through uncertainty. You have faced your doubts quietly. You have learned how to trust yourself, even when no one else could see the path you were on. So when you say yes to yourself now, it lands differently. It has weight. It has integrity. Whether that yes is to love, to independence, to a dream you once dismissed as unrealistic. You are not chasing something outside of you. You are aligning with what has always been true. And this is where the shift becomes tangible. You begin to notice support arriving in unexpected ways. Not miracles, not shortcuts, but real resources. Opportunities that make sense. Stability that feels earned. A sense of self-sufficiency that grounds you rather than isolates you. You are stepping into a position of quiet strength. There is confidence in knowing you can stand on your own, that your choices are backed by your own capability, that you no longer need to stay in situations that drain you simply because they are familiar. This is where you begin to loosen your grip on what has been weighing you down, the environments that dull your light, the dynamics that ask you to shrink, the patterns that keep you circling instead of moving forward. You do not leave in anger, you leave in clarity, and clarity is powerful. You understand now that staying in darkness does not make you loyal. It makes you disconnected, so you step away, with grace, with strength, with your head held steady. And as you move toward what feels brighter, something else happens. Your energy stabilizes even more. You feel capable, resourced, secure in your ability to care for yourself. This is not about isolation. It is about autonomy. You are choosing a life where love is a choice, not a necessity. Where success is measured by alignment, not approval. Where your worth is no longer negotiable. That is the essence of this leap, not the risk itself, but the self-respect behind it. And here is what matters most. You are not walking into the unknown empty-handed. You are carrying wisdom, experience, strength you did not have before. The light ahead is not distant. It is already touching you. You can feel it in the way your body relaxes when you imagine what comes next. In the way fear no longer stops you, it only slows you long enough to choose wisely. Take this breath. Let this choice settle. Because as you stand here, rooted in yourself, supported by your own resources, there is one final layer waiting to reveal itself, a sign, a confirmation, a quiet signal that tells you you are exactly where you need to be, and it is closer than you think. You may start to notice it in the smallest ways, a flash of color where you were not looking for one, a detail that stands out against an ordinary moment, something red crossing your path, again and again, without effort, not demanding attention, just present. At first you might dismiss it. Coincidence, a trick of awareness, your mind filling in patterns where there are none. But then it happens again, and something inside you pauses, because this is how confirmation arrives for you, not as a voice, not as a promise, but as repetition that feels gentle instead of forced. Red carries a particular energy. It is not quiet, but it is not aggressive either. It is life moving forward, blood through veins. Warmth, returning to places that went numb. When you see it now, notice how your body responds. A subtle lift, a moment of alertness, a feeling of being seen without being watched. This is not superstition. It is intuition learning how to speak to you in your own language. You have been asking yourself questions lately, not out loud, but in the quiet. Is this the right direction? Am I ready for this? What if I am wrong? Those questions are not weakness. They are care. And the answer you are being offered is not yes or no. It is reassurance, a reminder that you are aligned with movement, with growth, with a path that carries more life than fear. Red does not show up to rush you. It shows up to ground you, to remind you that you are embodied, here, present, alive in this decision. It may appear through a gift, a piece of clothing, a decoration you did not plan to notice, a moment that feels oddly warm for no reason you can explain. Let it be what it is, a signal, not an instruction. You do not need to chase signs. You do not need to test them. They meet you when you are already moving in the right direction. And you are. You have opened your heart enough to try again. You have trusted yourself enough to step forward. You have chosen courage without demanding certainty. That is why this confirmation feels calm, not dramatic, not overwhelming, just steady. If you feel a quiet confidence growing now, trust that. If you feel encouraged without being pushed, honor that. If something inside you says, keep going, but gently, listen. This path does not require force. It responds to openness. You are not meant to harden yourself to succeed. You are meant to stay receptive, curious, willing to learn as you move. And that is where abundance truly comes from. Not only material, but emotional, relational, spiritual. You are stepping into a season where effort and reward begin to feel connected again, where your energy circulates instead of being drained. Nothing needs to be proven. Nothing needs to be rushed. Just stay present. Stay honest. Stay open to what continues to meet you, because this confirmation is not the end of your story. It is the quiet moment where you realize you are walking it consciously now. And as you carry this awareness with you, as you move forward with your heart engaged and your feet grounded, notice what unfolds next, not all at once, but exactly when you are ready to see it. Libra. Before you go, let this moment settle. Not everything needs an answer tonight. Some truths arrive simply to be felt. And if something in this message surprised you, or quietly confirmed what your heart already knew, that was not by chance. You are learning how to trust yourself again. Not loudly, not dramatically, but in a way that lasts. The path ahead does not require perfection. It asks for honesty, presence, and the courage to keep showing up as you are becoming. If this message touched you, if it felt personal, take a moment and leave a comment. Not for me, for yourself. Mark this moment. And if you feel connected here with this energy, with this Libra space, make sure you like the video and subscribe. You are not meant to walk this journey alone. There is more unfolding, more clarity, more signs, more messages arriving exactly when you need them. Trust yourself, Libra. You are doing better than you think. And what is meant for you is already finding its way closer. Take a breath. Carry this warmth with you. The journey continues, and the next message is already forming.